What's going on, everybody? My name is Eason and welcome back to another video. And today, we're going to topic 4.2 for AP Comparative Government and Politics, which is objectives of election rules. So we're continuing Unit 4 on elections and all that cool stuff. So let's get started. Now, if you did not watch the 4.1 video, you need to go watch that because there's so many terms in this video that I covered in the last one that you're going to have to be familiar with. Now, we got through that, let's get started. So, single-member district plurality systems. We covered this in the last video. And we're going to learn now that they tend to promote two-party systems. They provide voters with strong constituency service and accountability because there is a single representative per district, and they ensure geographic representation. No matter where you live, like in the undeveloped south of Mexico or in the wealthy urban areas of the north, your vote will count. Proportional representation can result in an increase in the number of political parties represented in national legislatures, as well as an increase in the election of minority and women candidates. Now, in the last video, we talked about our legislative elections. In this video, we're going to talk about our executive elections a little bit more. Now, back to the proportional representation part, we could see more minority candidates if we're representing certain districts. So like if one district has more of an ethnic group than another, we're probably going to see a candidate that is a part of a different ethnic group. Now, since we're already talking about Mexico earlier, we're going to start with them by going over their executive elections. Mexico's president is elected by plurality of the national popular vote, not an absolute majority. An absolute majority would have to get over 50% of the votes. But plurality is just the most votes over any other candidate. Presidential candidates in Nigeria must win the most votes, majority, and secure at least 25% of the votes in 2/3 of Nigeria's states. And this reflects federalism because we're seeing you need to get those votes in each of Nigeria's states. Presidential candidates in Iran and Russia must win an absolute majority of the popular vote in either the first or second round of national voting. If no candidate wins an absolute majority in the first round, the second round is conducted between the top two earners of the first round. Majoritarian rules in Iran, Nigeria, and Russia provide the winners with a national mandate. Iran's Guardian Council excludes reform-minded candidates or those who do not support Islamic values from the ballot, which limits the number of candidates and reduces electoral competition and representation. You will not see like Christians running for the election. The Guardian Council will not allow it because they are not Muslim. As part of their democratic tradition, Mexico and Nigeria have created independent election commissions that attempt to reduce voter fraud and manipulation and enhance electoral competition. If we compare this to Iran and Russia, we see no electoral competition. With Iran, we see no political party systems and structures existing, and in Russia, we see the one-party dominance of United Russia and evidence of voter fraud, which they seem to be doing nothing about. Some regimes use an appointment system for membership in legislative bodies to promote a diversity of viewpoints, while other regimes use it to advance the political agenda of governing elites. And which regime type do you think will do that? The authoritarian regimes. Appointments for the United Kingdom's House of Lords are approved by the monarch, with recommendations made by the Prime Minister and an independent commission. Remember, the House of Lords is the house with little power, and its seat contain heredity and life peers. More information on this in the topic 2.6 video. Half of Iran's Guardian Council members are selected by the Supreme Leader, and half are nominees from the judiciary with the Major's approval. The appointment process for positions in Russia's Federation Council is done by regional governors and the regional legislator. The creation of 9 federal districts with the annexation of Crimea has reasserted federal power under the Russian president by allowing him to appoint presidential envoys to the districts and allowing regional legislators to forego elections and appoint a governor just from a list of candidates approved by the president. So the president is basically picking who's going to be those governors, and they're probably going to be his political party. And this does not show electoral competition because the people do not have a voice in this, and they must be on the president's list. The list is important. You must be on the list. The timing of legislative elections across our 6 countries can vary among the systems based on term limit policies. Now, the United Kingdom does not have term limits for parliament, but a parliamentary election is every 5 years. In Mexico, as a president, you can have a 1 to 6 year term known as a sexennial. Senate members can have 6-year term limits, while the Chamber of Deputies can have 3-year term limits. Now, both of these chambers, you can have 2 terms cap. In Nigeria, the president can be elected for 4 years each term with a cap on 2 terms. The House of Representatives and the Senate have unlimited term limits, but each term is 4 years. In China, the president has a 5-year term limit, but as of 2018, the number of terms one can have is endless. The legislative term limit is 5 years. In Iran, the supreme leader has no term limit and is overseen and appointed by the Assembly of Experts. The president has a 4-year term limit with a 2-term cap, and the Majlis has a 4-year term limit. Now, finally, in Russia, the president and prime minister can have a 6-year term limit with 2 consecutive terms. Now, you may be thinking, wow, Putin has been in power for a long time, and indeed he has. And he did 2 consecutive term limits as president, then was prime minister, and then became president again. Because how the law is written is you have to have 2 consecutive term limits, 2 term limits in a row. So if you do what he does, it becomes prime minister right after, then you can be president again. Now, election rule changes affect the representation of different religious, ethnic, and socio-economic groups. In Iran, spots in the majors have allowed those who aren't Muslim to gain legislative representation. And that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. We just covered a ton of stuff in this video. So if you want to go back and get some more notes, go ahead and do it. Please like and subscribe. It's free. It will help me out. And the link in the description down below. Yes, that link. You're going to click it. It's going to have practice MCQs and FRQ for AP Comparative Government and Politics. They're really, really cool, and I think they'll help you a lot out. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.